All right, let's see. We should be live, coming to you on this wonderful one of my favorite nights of the year. Anytime we get to do a live seating show, little sickness not even going to stop me. Mike, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Doing good. The migraine I had yesterday from sorting out some triangles is abated, and I can be excited to talk about them now.
Fantastic. We already have a chant for the triangles. Must be satisfied in the chat. So we are here getting ready. Seems like we got some folks in ads at the moment, so that's all right. Not going to miss much other than our big welcome, talking about the excitement, everybody being here, getting ready to celebrate what was an amazing fall season, biggest yet. I feel like we say it every time, but uh, I mean, every season now going into 5 years has been bigger than the last. We are dangerously close to 300 schools participating in Garden State Esports. We had Bayonne, Trenton Central High School joined this week, and a bunch of others. Mike, I mean, I don't know if you recall the exact numbers. I know that you are the competition director, which means you've got all
Which
the
means
spreadsheets. But
I have all the spreadsheets. Yes, I do actually have the numbers at hand. I'm gonna pretend to shuffle my papers like they do on ESPN. But we had 42 individual teams in our high school Rocket League championship season. We had 58 in high school Super Smash Brothers. We had 14 play League of Legends, 14 middle schools in our Rocket League season, 14 middle schools in our Smash season, and we had 6 schools in our Valkyrie Smash season. So we're looking to crown two, four, six, 8 state champions coming up at St. Elizabeth on November 18th. It's going to be a ride.
and why don't we start with that, Mike? Why don't you talk to us a little bit about why we're going to be crowning 8 state champions?
Absolutely. So, as GSC has continued to grow, we always keep an eye on how playoffs and how qualifying for playoffs works, how teams perform in the playoffs, and things like that. And we want to keep an eye on the competitive balance of the league. So we have larger schools, we have smaller schools, and just like traditional sports, we want to make sure that the smaller schools with their smaller player pools to pull from, because you have to play for the school that you attend. So if you're a school with a student body that totals in the 600, 700 range, we want to make sure that you have a fighting shot at competing against schools of similar size. Versus having to always compete against schools that have student populations in excess of 2,000, which happens all across the state. So just like in traditional sports, we keep an eye on it just to make sure that things are progressing in a balanced way. In previous seasons, it has. Small schools were qualifying for playoffs in the same proportion that they were participating versus bigger schools. But what we wound up starting to see is now the bigger schools were starting to crowd out some of those smaller schools. And that's not fair. You just don't have, if you're trying to put together a 5-person League of Legends team or a 5-person Overwatch team or a 3-person Smash Brothers team, you just have fewer people to choose from. And so we want to make sure that we're leveling the playing field and making an equitable league for everyone to be able to participate and have an equal chance at winning a state championship.
Right.
So
And
this, yeah, go ahead.
now, oh, first of all, I was going to do a quick pause and say hi to my son Oliver. Daddy is, in fact, inside the screen. I told you I would be in the screen. Here I am, buddy. You can now go to bed. Daddy loves you. Have a good night. But what you're talking about too, Mike, is it's not without precedent. This is what traditional sports does, or as I like to call them now, T sports. T sports, geographically, just like in Garden State Esports, you're going to play the schools closest to you. And then when it comes time for the playoffs, you're going to be matched up with schools from around the state that are a similar size. Because, like you said, we want to make sure that playoffs and state championships are going to be fair. And the fairest way to do that is make sure that you're playing from schools that draw from the same school size as you are. So, I think we got to work on the naming a little bit, but we have groups 0, 1, and 2, kind of like our small group schools, as we call them. And then we have groups 3 and 4 schools, our bigger schools. They're going to be competing for separate state champions. They're going to be acknowledged as state champions, and then hopefully in the near future we will have some type of tournament of champions where the group size champs will play each other. But I'm just excited to get to hand out double the belts.
Yeah, double the belts, double the medals, double the glory, if you want to call it that. And it does set up the potential for Tournament of Champions, where we can pit the Group 0, 1, 2 versus the Group 3, 4, and crown sort of a unified champion like they do in wrestling, and sort of unify the belt, unify the title. And we have space in the calendar to do that. It's
Right.
something that we're looking into for those that are interested in that and curious about that. Venue, timing, availability of players. So if we're trying to grab players that played a
Yeah.
season way back in the fall and they're out running, spring track sectionals, it's going to be hard to it's hard to get a handle on them. But
Right.
it's
And
always something we're looking to do.
And that was one of the reasons why we adjusted the schedule this year to start earlier, is it's going to allow us, if not this year, in the near future, to not only have, universal championships where we have the groups play each other, but it's also going to hopefully allow us to get into some regional face-to-face events as well. I've had a lot of communications with a lot of the community colleges. Most of the community colleges in New Jersey would love to host the first or second round of playoffs face to face. I know Camden County community, one of our best partners, is ready to go. So I'm actually going to be reaching out to the Olympic and some of the Colonial Valley conferences out that way to see if they want to do a face to face spring. First round of the playoffs at Camden County. So that's, why the schedule was moved a little bit, was to make sure we don't interfere with prom, we don't interfere with graduations, we don't interfere with any of that stuff, but also to make sure as we grow, we have the ability to do a lot of cool stuff. But without further ado, I think it's time we start talking about the playoffs. I don't know if you want to go through your beautifully rehearsed explanation of our new formula, but that is one of the big changes that we made this year, and a lot of it came down to how we treated bye weeks, and we tried to treat bye weeks as a win, and it didn't really work like we wanted to. We tried to treat bye weeks like they didn't exist, and that also didn't work like we wanted to. So we decided, to kind of take another page out of wrestling, the greatest sport on planet Earth after esports, and come up with a formula. So why don't you walk through what that formula looks like, so that way when we talk about playoff points and how important they are, again, not without precedent in traditional sports, you have caliber points and stuff like that in wrestling. Walk them through kind of what the playoff score looks like.
Absolutely. So just like Chris was saying, we switched to this formula because either way we have seeded in the past by using pure winning percentage disadvantages some schools. By using raw win-loss totals, that disadvantages other schools who didn't possibly get to play an additional match or did play an additional match and wound up losing it. And how do you compare those schools together? And so we have devised a way to weight your raw win-loss total, which is covered by the points that you earn, those 2 points for a win, 1 point for a tie that you get in the standings, with your winning percentage both in the entire match and also the individual games. So I like to show my work for those who our math teachers out there. That was drilled into me. So it's a multi-step process to use this formula. Step one is you determine your match winning percentage. And the way we do that is we take your wins, we add them to half your ties, which is only important in this season for League of Legends. That's the only game that can be tied. But anyway, we take your wins, we add them to half of your ties, and we divide by the total number of matches you played. That's your match winning percentage. Your game win percentage, if you're talking Rocket League, those are the individual games within that best of 3. If you're talking the crew battles, that's how many individual crew battles you won, so how many sets. And if you're talking League of Legends, those are the individual games. That's pretty straightforward. Take your wins, you divide by the number that you played. Now we come into the weighting aspect of it, and we had to come up with a coefficient, which we lovingly call A, because it's the first letter in the alphabet. And that is determined by taking the maximum possible number of standings points that can be earned by any team in that championship season. And this is how we get around bye weeks. Some teams played 7 matches, some teams played 6 matches. The maximum possible number of points you could earn is 14. If you went 7-0, that is the maximum you can earn. So, at the end of the season, 14, and then we multiply that by 1.5 to weight it. Because if you only played 6 matches, you can't earn 14 points. So what we do is we take your winning percentage, we multiply it by A, which is, for the most part, it's 21. It just comes out, it's 21. That's 150% of 14, it's 21. We take your winning percentage, multiply it by 21, we add the number of points you earned, we take your game winning percentage, multiply it by 21, add them all together. And what this effectively does is it means your match win percentage is worth 3/8 of your playoff score. Your game winning percentage is worth 3/8 of your playoff score, and your points earned are worth 2/8, or reduced to 1/4, 2/8 of your playoff score. So we inflate the value of your winning percentage ever so slightly to bring it in balance with teams all the way across the board. And this does not deflate anything for those teams that played longer schedules, because they earned all the points already.
Right.
You guys played the matches. So that's it. That's how we are able to balance this out. And what you'll see as we go through it is you will start seeing orders of teams that make a lot of, it just makes logical sense. It is very difficult to be out of order in terms of losses and things like that. That we had seen some wonkiness before. So that's the quick spiel. It's all on that slide if you ever want to refer to it again. The coolest thing ever, though, is that in the GSE portal, where advisors are posting their scores and their results, is when they go to their standings page, the playoff score exists on that page. And it updates every single time a score is entered. So you can see how it updates over the course of your season. You know, what did that 3-0 win do to your playoff score? Or what did someone else's 3-0 win do versus your 3-1 win? You know, where does that line up in terms of affecting your playoff score? You can see that out in the open, transparent, unlike PowerPoints from football, where it's a bunch of dudes sitting in a room and they add them all up and they're like, well, this school... No, it's there. And it just progresses over the course of the season live, in the moment, and then at the end of the season we are grabbing it, and that's what we're using to see.
Yeah, and I have to give props to you and the competition committee. That isn't, you know, it may seem like a lot if you're not a math whiz like myself as an English teacher, but it turned out to be a very elegant solution to his problem. That's not only that we've had, but this is a problem that every org like ours has had. And so, you know, that formula, copyrighted, proprietary. I don't want to catch anybody stealing it. But on top of that, right, the rest of the scoring is like everybody is used to. If you won a conference championship, you're automatically in the playoff no matter what group you're in. And then we fill it in, right, with the next best X amount of teams until we have a full bracket. And the only other thing that we'll point out is reminding folks that head-to-heads count when you are directly under a team. If you beat them head-to-head, you can jump up one rung in the ladder, is about what a head-to-head is worth these days, right? So in this economy, a head-to-head win is worth one jump above that, one rung on that ladder. So, without further ado, we've got some bracket splits. We talked about the different group sizes. I think we're ready to go. Mike,
We
why don't
are
you walk
ready
us
to go.
through Middle School Rocket League?
So first up, we've got our Middle School Rocket League championship season. The stars on all of these slides, where we break the seeds down. If you haven't seen one of these shows before, the star means that this team won their conference and therefore go all the way up to the top. So Fernwood and Burnett are our conference champions. Burnett gets there one rung on the ladder. They beat Matawan head to head. So in the conference final conference standings, Matawan had a slight edge in playoff score, but Burnett beat them to get that one running in the ladder, and they take the conference championship as a result. So they're your top two seeds, followed by Matawan Aberdeen Middle School. Stafford comes in, Orange Ave, Brigantine, Monmouth Beach, and Voorhees Memorial. So you can see, the effect that those individual games have on the seeding process. So you look at Stafford. They went 4-2. Orange Ave was 4-2. Brigantine 4-2. Pretty evenly matched. But when you dive into the individual game win-loss, Stafford at 13-8 is a better percentage than 14-9 of Orange Ave, and the playoff score reflects that. Orange Ave won one more, but they also lost one more. And the same thing goes for Monmouth Beach and Voorhees, both at 3-3, but Voorhees lost that additional individual game over the course of the season, and they lost 0.42 in playoff score. Every sliver counts in order to make a seed. I tell my players that all the time. You have to be locked in and focused from the start of the match to the finish, because if you slip up and you lose a game, it could cost you a seed. It could cost you a seed or two.
Absolutely, and you're going to see throughout this, there's some seeds that are separated by fractions of a point. And so playing out every match to the best of your ability continues to be important. So no matter the record, no matter the score, continuing to play your best, winds up helping you when it comes time to playoffs. And so when we see Middle School Rocket League shake out, we're going to see Fernwood as the 1 seed going against Voorhees. We got Stafford at the 4 seed going against Orange Ave. We're going to see Matawan against Brigantine. We got Burnett, who won that head-to-head against Matawan, is now taking on Monmouth Beach, the 7th seed. And so those will be remote matches starting on Halloween at 3:30. We know you want to go trick-or-treating, but we're assuming that you want to win a state title more than you want to go trick-or-treating. Match will be done at 4:30. You can trick-or-treat after.
You will get bonus social media points if you can send us pictures of you playing your match in costume.
Yes, I would expect everybody to be dressed for Halloween and send some pictures of them competing for a state title in their costumes. Some exciting announcements, though, Mike, about middle school and St. Elizabeth's Rocket League. Do you want to share that?
Yes, so the original announcement that we made in the Discord was that we were only going to be able to feature the finals for Middle School Rocket League. Just based on the equipment St. Elizabeth has, the set drawings and everything that we went under contract for, they were done, they were sealed, they were signed, bills were paid, and whatnot. You can't change that after all of that is done. There's the legwork on these events goes into effect months in advance.
Right.
We're already talking about winter, and the season hasn't even started yet.
Right.
That was a bummer. We love having as many kids play at these events as possible, and so we were able to move things around and reorient things that we had already sort of signed on for and allocated. And so we are able to get semifinals and finals for Middle School Rocket League on stage at St. Elizabeth. So you guys only need to play 1 round remote, and then you punch your ticket. So you'll have plenty of time to practice and scout and all that fun stuff, because it's only 1 round remote, and then you guys are playing at St. Elizabeth.
There you go. So, Middle School Rocket League, if you make it to the semis, you are now going to St. Elizabeth's. So we're excited to be able to get you on the stage. But, now it's time to do our picks. And here we go, right? If you're new to the show, the way picks work, Mike and I go through, we debate, we argue, we fight, and we decide who we think is going to win, which means take home a state championship. A team to watch, that's a team in the top half of the bracket who's got a chance to, make a run for a state title. And then down there at the bottom, dark horse is somebody from the bottom half of the bracket that you got to watch out for. And so, Mike, both and I think it's going to be Fernwood. Fernwood's been a tough team. Got to watch some of their play. Checked out a few streams. I know that the coaches over there run a fantastic program, and I think it's going to be Fernwood's year in Rocket League.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's hard to argue with 6-0. Um, it. I also know that the crew over at Fernwood, they got big displays up all over the place. They're doing individual drills. They're doing all kinds of coaching just to get better every week. And that's dangerous. Some of these middle school programs, man, they're scary. And I'm glad that they are not playing against high schools anymore, because that's how it was at the beginning of the season, and we got taken out by some of them. So, but yeah, Fernwood's an impressive program. But I think you guys still got to watch out for Burnett. I'm you can't get the road to the state championship in any middle school esport runs through Burnett, and they're a 2 seed. Um, they did what they had to do to win their conference and get that 2 seed. They're still going to be dangerous. So I think you still have to watch out for them.
And so for me to watch Matawan, the match with Burnett wasn't that one sided. They hung around and they played well. And I know Matawan is a program too that's making some noise, not just in middle school, but their high school program is now up and running. And, they have a full pipeline. So I wouldn't be surprised knowing what I know about Matawan and how they've been practicing, getting ready for the playoffs. You know, Burnett Matawan rematch is going to be one to watch. Probably at St. Elizabeth's, and that's if they get past Brigantine. Don't sleep on Brigantine down there in the bottom half of the bracket. Another program, right? That was a playoff. It was a playoff team last year, and so to see them down a little bit surprising. But some of the matches that Brigantine lost weren't significant enough to me to believe that they're going to get run over. And so I think that's a team you got to keep an eye on down there at the bottom. So if you're playing Brigantine, you definitely don't want to get caught in that trap game thinking that they're a team that you're just going to run over.
And I think you still have to watch out for Orange Ave. They've been there before. They've been to the finals. They know what it's like. These rooms get loud, man. They get loud. We're talking hundreds at its peak, over 1,000 people sitting and watching you play some Rocket League, and they get loud. And so having the poise to play on stage, I think, is important. And also, you look at their record. Orange Ave won almost the maximum number of games you can win and still be 4-2.
Yeah.
They won 14 full games, so they're fighting even the teams that they lost to. And so I think a team that's been there before is always scary.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something I always factor into my picks as well. Is for those in the chat, if you didn't know, when Garden State Esports puts on a state finals, they're the largest scholastic esports events in the country. 15, 16, 1,700 people. I have no doubt we're going to break the record at St. Elizabeth's. And you remember last year during the Rocket League state finals, we were setting off people's decibel warnings on their Apple Watches. That's how loud it got. And that's one of those things is if you've never played on a stage in front of thousands of people, their nerves are real. I've coached traditional sports, I've T-sports, esports, and you can't really teach poise in big match situations.
And part of it too is it's a live event, right? So it's not the match starts at 3:30, but school ended at 2:45. I can grab a snack, I can hit the bathroom, I can warm up a little bit, I can watch some Mr. Beast videos to relax. We call you down to the green room. We tell you how it's going to work.
Yeah.
You pick your walkout song, and you get about 5-10 minutes to warm up when your butt hits the chair on the stage.
Absolutely.
And that's it. So it's that poise is important, and it's always fun. It's always fun to watch these kids rise to it.
Absolutely.
Because they always do, and we always get some great matches out of it.
Yes. And let's segue into Middle School Smash because we want to make
loud
sure,
esports. Middle School Smash.
We want to get our middle schoolers off to bed. We don't want to keep them up too late, even though it's a Friday. But Mike, walk us through Middle School Smash.
Once again, Burnett and Fernwood win their conference and take the top 2 seeds. Burnett perfect. They earned a perfect 49 playoff score points, and the single set that Fernwood dropped cost them a whopping .077, and that was enough to not be the top seed. But they're followed by Island, Orange Ave, Hoboken Charter, Bayshore, again, slivers of playoff score points, and then Stafford and Kwame round out the top 8 that will be playing for a championship.
Beautiful. Nice clean seeds there. And so when we put it on the big board, we got Burnett versus Kwame. You love to see a union matchup right off the bat. That's going to be a tough one. Then you got Orange Ave and Hoboken Charter. You got Islin and Bayshore. And then you got Fernwood and Stafford. Remote's first 2 rounds, unfortunately, aren't able to squeeze Smash Cruise for middle schools into the schedule. There's just no space. Hopefully something that we will be able to rectify at our winter finals, making sure, not that we're having Smash, but that we can get as many teams, everybody hopefully there. But let's walk through the picks. Fernwood has been a monster. Fernwood's been, and honestly I cheated and saw you pick Burnett, so I just wanted to pick a fight and pick Fernwood. But it's gonna be we might have a Fernwood Burnett finals for Rocket League and Smash, and we see 2 middle schools here really starting to really set themselves up as premier programs, and the fact that they're going to be feeding into their high schools too. We're going to start to see some powerhouse teams in Garden State Esports over the next couple of years. But I think it's Fernwood's time to take home the Smash title.
Nobody beats Burnett. That's been clear all season. I think that will be clear throughout the playoffs. Just nobody beats Burnett. Everybody, every time we show up to the finals, there's somebody walks in big, and then, Mr. Churis walks in wearing full barbarian armor, and just that ego just melts away. And nobody beats Burnett. So I got to go with them. But obviously, I'm watching Fernwood. You can't ignore 12-1.
There you go.
But my dark horse here is Bayshore. Again, just the pedigree is there. Bayshore is always there. Bayshore is always fighting.
2-time state champs, Bayshore.
Their logo in the portal includes a triangle, and so yeah, you gotta watch out.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, for my dark horse, one of the programs that's been impressive lately is Stafford. Stafford's just really been putting out some hard fought matches. Again, always fighting to the end. Not a team I would want to face as a top seed. Not a team I would want to go against the bottom bracket of Stafford. So there you have it, friends. Middle school Smash, middle school Rocket League, ready to rock and roll. Exciting. And so next, Mike, talk us through Valkyrie League and what Valkyrie League is.
Sure. Valkyrie League, we started last spring. Our inaugural season was called Victoria League back then, but we gave it a little facelift.
Little rebrand.
We'll rebrand. And this is our additional championship season that we offer for girls, marginalized genders, non-binary persons. We even play it on a separate day from our co-ed championship seasons that you're familiar with, which allows top players that are eligible to play in this league to play for their co-ed team as well. We don't ever want to take away an opportunity in the effort of increasing participation and inclusivity. Right. And that's what this league is all about, is creating a safe, inclusive space for these players to just be able to be themselves and game. A lot of times, this space is very intimidating. We all know what happens online. To anyone that may have a voice slightly higher pitched than mine as soon as they speak into a microphone, right. And that's not what we're about. We're about the exact opposite. So we want to create this space and welcome all of these players in and give them an opportunity to compete for a state championship. And we crowned our first state champion last year in our Valkyrie season. Our first Valkyrie season. I'm just going to call it that so I don't have to keep it straight in my brain.
It works.
And that was Mercer County Tech, if I'm not mistaken. Took home the championship in Valorant last year. And so we offer one of these per season. The games that we offer this season for were selected based on student survey. So we send out that student survey every season, asking for information and opinions and requests and things like that. And we asked, players that would be eligible to play in this league, what games do you play that you would be interested in playing? And so Super Smash Bros. Was the big answer for the fall, we will offer a Valkyrie season in the winter for Overwatch 2.
Yep.
And we will again offer Valorant after its success last year in the spring. So we know you're out there. We know you're watching. Come play for us. It is a fantastic time. I had a Valkyrie team last spring for Valorant. It was filled with players who were just so excited to be there. The game chat was just filled with positivity, and it was players that said they actually came to me and said that they would not have come out for the team if this opportunity was not there because they were intimidated. So that's great. So we offer this here. Registration opens at the same time that the winter registration will open. We encourage advisors, to beat the streets, beat the hallways. You know who these kids are, and tell them that this opportunity is there for them because they will come and they will play and they'll have a fantastic time.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we're proud of with Garden State Esports is making sure everybody has an opportunity to get in the game. So we're excited to see our 4 Valkyrie teams who qualified for the playoffs. Why don't you walk us through what that looks like?
Absolutely. So Barnegat, it was a single conference league based on its size. So Barnegat took home that conference championship at a perfect 5-0. West Deptford was not all that far behind. And then Madawan and Hopakong very close together. The 3-4 seed actually came down to the last match of the season where they were playing each other.
Which is great match.
Yeah, so it's tight. A lot of these matches were going 2-1, except if you played Barnegat. So it was a competitive, fun time, and we actually still see. I know we'll get into this a little bit later when we get into the All Stars, but we did see Barnegat, one of their top players, and West Deptford as well. One of their top players from their co-ed team played Valkyrie, and cleaned up. So it's not this is a competitive league. There's some high quality players. You just got to get them in the room.
Absolutely, yeah. And we'll talk a little bit more about that makeup of that Barnegat team in a little bit. But we got Barnegat at the 1 seed going to play Hopakong. We got West Deptford at the 2 seed going to play Madawan. Semifinals will be remote, and we're excited to main stage this finals at St. Elizabeth. I think I'm an underdog kind of guy. Anytime I can justify rooting for the underdog, picking the underdog, I'm going to make it happen. So I think West Deptford has the tools. If you don't know, Barnegat has an incredible Smash player, Kayla Crawford. She plays not just on, again, her Valkyrie team, but she's a starter for her varsity team. And she was in the state finals last year for the varsity team. And so she is an outstanding player and a big part of that Barnegat team. But I know West Deptford, I know Coach Seeley, they've been reviewing the film, they've been looking at the footage, they've been thinking about picks and counter picks. If anybody's going to do their homework and anybody's going to pull off the upset against the juggernaut that is Barnegat, I think West Deptford's going to make. I think West Deptford might make it a match. And if not, I picked them to watch. So I'd pick Barnegat. If they don't win, then I pick Barnegat. To win.
I hedge my bets entirely as well.
Yes.
I go with the juggernaut. Mostly so that I can hopefully come out of this finals saying that I picked more picks correctly. We have a little side competition going where we're always checking notes backstage, like I picked these guys. But I hedge my bets with West Deptford as well because Coach Seeley's always going to have him ready to go. And you never know what happens when the lights hit you. I know Barnegat's been there before, but Smash is one of those games, man, where you push the button all the way down instead of tapping it, and you lose. You never know.
Yeah, my 4-year-old beats me all the time. He plays Sephiroth, and he does the Dark Nova thing, and I fly off the screen.
I'm not sure I would understand what controller I'm even holding my hand if Ham Polo is like 3 feet behind me just going insane into a microphone.
This is true. You always have to factor in the Ham Polo effect when you're playing Smash, because he loses his mind, and he might cause you to lose yours. But, let's talk about League.
Gosh.
Let's
talk
about League. Get your triangles going, chat. Yes, Chris is playing Smash in the chat. My 4-year-old has gotten me into Smash. We unlocked all the characters. I lose to all the characters. I'm not allowed to play Yoshi because my son gets mad when I poop him out as an egg. So there's a lot of rules over here. But get your triangles going, chat. We got us a doozy.
So if you can see on the screen here, about half the bracket is empty because the nightmare scenario took place on Thursday. North Jersey ended in a three-way tie for first place in their conference. Edison, Scotch Plains Fanwood, and West Essex all ended the season at 4-0-2. And to make matters worse, all of the ties were against each other. So there is literally nothing separating these teams. You go through all the tie-break scenarios. None of the teams had any players suspended, which is great. Obviously, nobody lost, so there were no forfeits that took place. Their record against common opponents, literally the same, because they were all in the same conference, which means their best wins, all of their wins were against the same teams.
Right.
They all beat the same 4 teams, so that doesn't mean anything. And their strength of schedule, they're all in the same conference, so their average playoff score of the conference is the same number. Which brings us to the last one, which is coin flip. But there are 3 teams, and so instead of having some weird best 4 out of 9 shenanigans with a coin,
we had to get creative.
I play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm sure it surprises you to know that one of the leaders of an esports league is a nerd.
No, come on, say it proud.
So I have a polyhedral die here. It is a D12, which is the closest I could come to a three-way decider here. And so I have the teams listed in alphabetical order: Edison, Scotch Plains, Fanwood, and West Essex. And the way it's going to work is if I roll on this die a 1, 2, 3, or a 4, Edison wins the conference. If I roll a 5, 6, 7, or 8, Scotch Plains wins the conference. And if I roll a 9, 10, 11, or 12, West Essex wins the conference.
All right, I'm going to give everybody a second for that to sink in while you adjust your camera. Okay.
So we're going to move the old camera down.
And what I love most about this is the most high-pressure part of any show is when I have to flip the coin.
Yeah, I got to make sure I don't roll off the table.
The fact that you have to roll the dice, I'm thrilled right now. So, if it's a 1, 2, 3, or 4, who wins?
Edison. We go in alphabetical order. So the first 4 numbers will be Edison, the next 4 numbers will be Scotch Plains, and the next 4 numbers are West Essex.
All right, here we go.
All right, let's see if I can keep this.
For the conference championship. Oh,
stayed on the table.
You're so lucky. That was so close.
All right, so it is a 3. I'll lift it straight into the camera so everybody can see there.
Yes,
I
will confirm your 3.
All right, that's a 3. So that is between 1 and 4, which means Edison wins the North Jersey Conference and takes the number 2 seed.
There you go. So I'm going to keep it on face cam. I'm going to hit escape on the presentation. Mike is going to do some wizardry on our slides, and we will finish seeding out League of Legends live right here for you.
But wait, there's more. Because the same thing still applies for Scotch Plains and West Essex.
This is true. We got to roll again.
We got to roll again.
Because
we don't have a giant coin. I meant to stop at a store and get some comically large coin. Just like a novelty thing. But anyway, so we're going to do the same thing again, and it's going to be a 1 through a 6 will be Scotch Plains, and a 7 through a 12 will be West Essex. So let's tilt down again.
Here we go.
Oh boy. Oh gosh. Great production value on this stream as always. Okay. All right, here we go. This is how the sausage gets made, everybody.
Got a 2.
It is a 2, which means Scotch Plains takes the 4 seed.
There we go. And I will say as well, thank God I'm not in your party with your rolls. Okay.
Well, it was funny. I was practicing to make sure that that I was able to roll it on the table consistently, and I was getting 10s and 12s, and I'm like, yes, we got this in the bag. No,
That's it. You were.
not that this seed actually matters because by virtue of how the brackets work, West Essex and Scotch Plains will wind up playing each other. It's just it
This is true.
determined who gets to pick which side they start on.
Right. And as you
All
finish
right, I'm
typing
gonna.
it out, since we are on the topic of rolling dice and Dungeons and Dragons,
Yes.
Is Baldur's Gate 3 not the best game that's been made in like the last 15 years?
It is probably one of the best games that I've ever played in
I
my
don't know
life.
who in the chat's playing, but Baldur's Gate Baldur's Gate 3 is unbelievable. You know, between being a teacher, having two boys under 4 years old, and running the largest esports league in the country, I just got to Act 3 after, I don't know, 3 months. But I'm very excited to someday finish it. But I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I'm seeing BG3 for game of the year in the chat. Game of the decade.
Easily. Easily one of the best
Yeah,
games I've played in a long time.
yeah.
So,
It's funny. It's funny because they moved up the launch because they wanted to avoid Starfield, and they absolutely obliterated Starfield.
I haven't even played Starfield yet, and I have the Game Pass because I'm still trying to get through. But
But anyway, so now that we actually have a bracket, I do want to just quickly break down the rest of the League of Legends seeds there. Um, so Barnegat obviously takes the top seed. They went 7-0. They won every single game. They are the team to beat. Edison, by virtue of the gods of chance, take the 2 seed. Cherry Hill East slots in as the 3 because they have best wins. So the playoff score for Scotch Plains and West Essex is also 45. Just because of some quirks about how games where you only play two things, where you only play two games each, and you could tie and stuff, the formula works out that it is actually the same. It's 45 if you're 5-1, and also if you're 4-0-2. However, Cherry Hill beat the third place team in their conference because they were the second place team in their conference, whereas neither Scotch Plains nor West Essex could beat the third place team in their conference because they tied them. So that's why Cherry Hill gets that third place seed on best wins in our tiebreak flowchart. Haddon Heights is number 6. Shawnee comes in at 7, and they get the 7 over McNair because McNair had a forfeit, and forfeits are very high in our tiebreak flowchart. Play your matches. Just a good rule of thumb. Just play the matches.
there we go. So,
Because that's, by the way, that's the difference between playing Edison
yep.
4-0-2 and Barnegat never lost anything.
Yeah, Coach Brown's got it on lock. The League of Legends encyclopedia himself. Doing amazing things at Barnegat with League of Legends. Barnegat all over the map. They're going to be our 1 seed. Barnegat versus McNair. Scotch Plains versus West Essex. Cherry Hill versus Haddon Heights. And we finish off with Edison and Shawnee. First 2 rounds are going to be remote. Excited to play the finals on the main stage at St. Elizabeth's on November 18th. And that's going to bring us to our picks. I mean, I don't know if I could pick against Barnegat. It's tough knowing what I know about Coach Brown, Coach Sellers, the League of Legends machine that they have created over there. I will say, if anybody's going to take them out, it's going to be those young up-and-comers coached by that Mike Johnson character I heard great things about over at West Essex. Because it was a good match when you guys played. You guys played a great match the other day against Edison. So, rooting for you too, bud.
They're a resilient crew. I will give them that. And our mid laner is, his name's on the All-Star sheet 2 seasons running now. So, but again, Barnegat, there isn't much else you can say about them other than beware. The level of depth that they go through in their practices. They're doing VOD reviews. They're doing in-depth analysis. They start training in the summer. I was talking to Coach Brown over the summer when we were at LCS, and he has them playing games and analyzing them over the summer, just to get prepared. And I believe if not all, maybe at least half of the roster returns. So they've got 2 years under their belt now in this system, being coached by him, learning those self-analysis skills that we like to teach in esports when we're coaching. Um, so they're well oiled. Um, but having just played Edison, I think you got to watch out for them, and especially now that they just got the 2 seed. I wrote those picks down before I knew where they were going to land, so I think you still should have had to watch them even if they landed at 5. But now that they're on the other side of the bracket from Barnegat,
Yep.
and they can avoid them in the semifinals, I think that you definitely have to, watch out for them. And then, of course, just because I have firsthand experience of how evenly balanced all these teams are, Scotch Plains Fanwood. Their bot lane is something to be scared of. They work really well together, and I think they can make a run too if they get past us, which,
Yeah. No, couldn't call out Cherry Hill. Cherry Hill East, a team that's been great at League in the past and isn't all that bad this year. So on any given day, things fall their way. I can see Cherry Hill East making a run. I love a good Cinderella story. I love a good upset. So going to be watching for Cherry Hill East maybe to do some damage out there. But that brings us now to, right, our most...
so we're going to do Rocket League first.
Our largest, our most excited 2 games. We're going to start out with High School Rocket League. And now let's remind everybody real quick, Mike, is this is where we now start breaking it down into group sizes. So
Correct.
The first bracket, the first group is going to be our small school bracket, 0, 1s, and 2s. Right, group 1s and 2s, should be kind of hopefully something folks have heard of, right? That's found in traditional sports, like I said. Group zeros, what we do in Garden State Esports, because again, our mission is to get as many people as we can in the game. We allow a lot of charter schools, private schools into the league because we want to give them the opportunity to play as well. So any non-traditional school that typically can't be found in traditional sports or is some offshoot or magnet, right? So like we have a lot of vocational schools that often don't have traditional sports or they play for their home schools. If they can field a team, right, we allow them to play as a VOTEC team, right? They can't play for both their home team and the VOTEC, but if they want to play as a VOTEC, we're happy to have them. And so that's one of the great things about esports is we can be as inclusive as possible. And so you'll see those schools are Group 0 schools because we don't really have any any metric to classify them as. So we just go to Group 0, and they're all those unique schools that we're proud to be able to involve in Garden State Esports. So walk us through, and we're going to see one of those Group 0 schools is a conference champ, looking like a number 1 seed. Walk us through.
So just to give people just another reminder on the process, so when we seed before a bracket split, we rank everybody in the league from top to bottom 1. And then in the case of Rocket League, from 1 to 42, we rank you all from top to bottom. And then when we go to split the brackets, that's when we just pull them apart like string cheese, and we take the highest group 0, 1, 2, then down the line. But any group 0, 1, 2 school that was a conference champ is in the top of their bracket. If a group 3 or 4 school won a conference and a group 1 or 2 school was like second place, that doesn't mean you're the conference championship in terms of seeding. You didn't win the conference. So we do give that extra boost to teams that could win their conference over the course of 6 or 7 games. But that being said, P-Tech undefeated, 6-0, 18-1. They are your top seed, having won their conference. Hoboken at 6-1. Then Manchester Regional, Haddon Heights, Cape May Tech, Mercer County Tech, Manasquan, and rounding out the top 8 is West Deptford. The reason this is an 8-team bracket is we had 13 Group 0, 1, 2 schools play Rocket League, and we, as a rule of thumb, we like to keep it about 50% in terms of making the playoffs, as close to whatever is 50%, and also an even bracket that doesn't have like bye weeks and stuff because that's annoying.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a top 8.
So here's how the bracket looks. If you've not heard of P-Tech, P-Tech is a high school that is part of
New
the
Brunswick, I believe.
New Brunswick School District. So huge district, but they have a lot of different high school options, and that team participated as students that attend P-Tech. Right, they don't attend New Brunswick High School that most people know. Right, and they got a couple really cool focused high schools over there. But P-Tech is going to play West Deptford. You got Haddon Heights, Cape May. You got Manchester Regional versus Mercer County Tech. And then rounding it out at the bottom, you got Hoboken versus Squan. And so you'll see round one is going to be remote. And then we're happy to have the semifinals and finals live at St. Elizabeth. Talking about the picks, P-Tech is tough, right? Coach Seth over there has got quite the team, so I think he'll be able to bring it all the way home with the should be undefeated, no loss season.
They lost one game,
Okay, gotcha.
so they're mortal.
They
They've
can
led.
bleed.
I think Hoboken's going to take it. Hoboken is only 6-1 by virtue of some, scheduling snafus and
Right.
technical issues. So I think they're as underseeded as you could be as a 2 seed.
Right.
They were on their way to a perfect season, and I think they're gonna, just get right back on track through the playoffs and just burn a hole through that bracket. But I'm obviously watching P-Tech. But I think Cape May Tech's gonna make a run. They're well coached down south there. I think if they make it to the semis, they got a long bus ride up to Morristown, and they are not going to want to leave without some hardware.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I have my Hoboken to watch just because, like you said, is they've had some tech issues throughout. If they weren't the 2 seed, I think they would be a little bit more dangerous. But hopefully P-Tech sees them coming. And my dark horse is going to be Haddon Heights. I think Haddon Heights has the ability to make a run. They weren't far off either. If I could add a little asterisk here, I actually was just at Manasquan High School for the opening of their esports arena. They won the Insight Intel Inspires, esports makeover that we as Garnet State Esports were able to gift them. And I got to talk to their Rocket League team, and even during the event that I was just at, they were practicing. So Squan was in the state finals last year. And they were our very first high school Rocket League state champ as well. So, Haddon Heights, I'm going to add a little asterisk. Squan's coming to play as well. So, going to be great.
I believe Squan reverse swept the 2v2 final last spring.
Yeah. There you go. So who knows? And so now let's get into our big Group 3, Group 4 schools. Talk to us about this.
Yeah, so we have the other 4 remaining conference champions were Group 3-4 schools. Seneca was a perfect 21-0, so they take your top seed, followed by Ocean Township, St. Peter's Prep. And you can see there just the impact that losing a single game has. It affects that playoff score. There are teams that will go perfect. Garden State Esports, I tell my kids all the time, it is a competitive league. We have SSLs playing. We got grand champs. We got champs. We have kids who go to college on scholarship to play Rocket League to come out of this league. It is high quality, and you have to be locked in. My favorite shape in the universe is the triangle, and so Kingsway, our final conference champ here, is actually conference champ by virtue of a triangle with Barnegat and Hamilton. All 3 teams finished at 5-1. And it was a triangle of head-to-heads in terms of jumping that one rung on the ladder. So we have to break them out. We have to seed them. The triangle must be satisfied. For those of you that were not here last year, what that means is we stop the presses in all seeding things until we can figure out this triangle and satisfy it. So we do so by the handy-dandy playoff score. Kingsway's playoff score of the 3 was 44.3. Barnegat's was at 43.727, and Hamilton was at 40.94. So Kingsway shakes out on top to satisfy that triangle. If you were keeping score at home, that would then mean that Hamilton's head-to-head would make them the second-place team in the conference.
Right.
But that doesn't matter for when we seed statewide. When we seed statewide, we do so by virtue of playoff score alone. We do not go through, all right, we take all the firsts, and then we take all the seconds, and then we take all the thirds. So that's why, as we go through the rest of the seeds, Barnegat is still seeded higher than Hamilton, just because the gulf in playoff score is so wide when you look at the rest of the state,
Right.
that Hamilton is more than one rung down the ladder.
Right. So just because Hamilton beat Barnegat doesn't mean that they get to jump West Essex and Cherry Hill, right? You for head to heads, you gotta kind of be right below that person.
Yep. So Scotch Plains Fanwood takes the 5 seed. Bloomfield, then Barnegat, Cherry Hill East, West Essex comes in at the 9. Hamilton at the 10, then followed by Cherokee, Union Township, Lenape, JFK out of Patterson, Memorial out of West New York, and Eastern Regional rounds out our top 16.
There we go. And so we put it on the big board. We're going to see returning state champs. Both players are back that won the 2s last year. Adding a third for this run. Going to be the first seed. You got Seneca versus Eastern. You got Cherry Hill East versus West Essex. You got Kingsway versus Lenape. SPF versus Union. St. Peter's is playing JFK Patterson. You got Bloomfield, Cherokee, Barnegat, Hamilton, and you got Ocean Township High School. New kids on the block coming in, taking a second seed in their very first season with Garden State Esports, is taking on Memorial High School out of West New York. So first 2 rounds are going to be remote, and like we said, we're going to be playing these semifinals and finals live at St. Elizabeth's. Don't forget, Rocket League is still a best of 5 throughout the playoffs and the state finals. And look, Seneca, oof, man, that 2v2 match against Manasquan last spring was unbelievable. And then if you remember, Mike, we had an event down in Atlantic City. We saw a Seneca Manasquan rematch, and it was just as exciting. And Seneca took the win there too in our special, Cape Atlantic kind of tournament that we held over the summer. So it's hard to vote against Seneca. Those freshmen, now sophomore, that won last year, they both, I believe, Supersonic Legends, play very, very well together. If you check out the Garden State Esports YouTube channel, the highlight video from that match was like unbelievable. Crowd was going nuts.
Everybody had their phones out. They were filming the screen so they would take it home. Like it was wild. A fantastic atmosphere.
And so, if Seneca doesn't happen to get the job done, it might be because of Kingsway. Kingsway, I think, maybe a little underseeded, ran into a few issues, ran into, I'd say a couple matches could have slid their way. Kingsway being at the 4 seed, definitely worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, I think, I go Seneca, but my team to watch is Bloomfield. They were in our conference, extremely solid players, and their only loss was to P-Tech, who is gone because we split the brackets. True. So there is no ceiling on Bloomfield anymore. I think they can make a run out of a comparatively lower seed. But my dark horse is Union. As we've been seeing for a long time now, the road to state championships goes through Union, whether that's Union City or Union Township or any of the middle schools that feed said high schools. They all win everything. So I don't think you can discount Union at any moment.
Yeah, and I'll bring it back to Barnegat. You look at the state semifinals last couple of years, Barnegat's always hanging around. And those players, they haven't graduated. Aqua Tears and the rest of the team over at Barnegat, they're still there. So you're talking about you've got kids with 3-4 years of state playoff experience, winning one state championship, being in the finals another time, the semis other time. So, wherever Barnegat is seated, when you come back with that kind of experience, definitely not something to sleep on. But and now maybe watching the chat, what I think most folks have been waiting for is the high school Super Smash Seeds.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to see some Sephiroths in the chat because I was getting trolled that my son could beat me with that stupid Dark Nova. So, walk us through, Mike. What's our small groups looking like?
All right, so Group 0-1-2 is led by Verona. They were the number one seed overall in our 2v2 season last spring. They are the number one seed overall here as well in Cruz. All those players came back. They were juniors last year, they're seniors this year. They lost in the first round to Cedar Creek, and they are hungry. Coach Callie over there tells me they're like eating the scenery off the walls. They can't wait to get back at it. Then we're followed up by Pleasantville winning their conference. High Tech takes the 3 seed by virtue of winning head to head over Union City. Luigi Kid just back at it again. Manasquan takes the conference that they were in by virtue of a head to head win over Old Bridge. And so that's how they jump a rung on the ladder and take a conference. Then we start rounding things out. Cape May Tech takes the 5. Haddon Heights, Henry Hudson, and Hopatcong all at 5 and 2. Union Catholic comes in at the 9 seed, followed by Clayton. Then Center School, we have McNair Academic, David Rearley. Camden Catholic takes the 14 over the 15 by virtue of strength of schedule over Manchester Regional. And Newark Tech rounds out the top 16. Terms of numbers, just again because Rocket League was an 8-team. Why is the smaller school won 16 teams this time around? 24 schools would qualify for this particular bracket. So half of that is 12. 12 is dumb. So we just bump it up to 16 to make sure we have as much participation as we can.
I like it. That may be the quote of the show. 12 is dumb. But what it looks like on the big board, we got Verona versus Newark Tech, Hopatcong versus Union Catholic. We got Squan versus Brearley. Cape May taking on McNair. High Tech taking on Camden Catholic. Heights versus Center School. Hudson versus Clayton. And then we got Pleasantville and Manchester Regional rounding out that 2v15 match. Remote matches again, November 1st, November 8th, and then we'll see the top 4 live at St. Elizabeth's for the semifinals and finals. And listen, I about fell out of my chair when I saw High Tech High lost a match. Stunned. You guys know High Tech can play them some Smash, and they got a kid over there, Luigi Kid, man, that won a national championship, just as talented as can be. And so I have to think, oof, you know, if
And not only that, not only is Luigi Kid back, the only team to ever beat them is Union City,
not
which
in
is
the
a
bracket.
Group 4 school.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. So
Union City's a Group 4 school. There's
not
no
in
way
the
they can
bracket.
play.
So I'm curious to see, can Verona, can Pleasantville, can they hang with High Tech? Because I mean, what, the last 4, 5 state finals was some version of Union City versus High Tech. If it wasn't a 2v3 with one of them getting knocked out, it was for state finals. I think High Tech is a 2-time state champ in Smash. I think Union City was a 2-time state champ. So, you know, the other beautiful thing about breaking this out into group sizes is we're going to see some more diversity possibly in state champs. And I don't know. If somebody can get it done against High Tech, maybe it's Verona, maybe it's Pleasantville, but man, High Tech can play some Smash, and I think people, you know, maybe sleeping on Cape May Tech a little bit. I think Cape May had a great season, some talented players. I think maybe if anybody can go on a run, a Cinderella story, it might be Cape May Tech and Smash.
I mean, Cape May was in a rough conference.
Good. They were good.
They were in a conference with Pleasantville, Absegami,
Yeah.
Cedar Creek, and Barnegat. Their coach actually messaged me when the conferences came out and just said, "Seriously?" And they went 6-1.
Yeah.
So
Not bad
they
at
can
all.
play. But you got to watch out for Hopatcong. They have a player on Isabel, who's fantastic. And when they played us, it was coming down to the last stock a couple of times, and we were able to edge them out. But I think on a good day, I think if they come in hungry, I think Hopatcong is going to make some noise, especially where they're poised. I know they're anticipating a potential second round matchup with Verona again. Coach McCowan told me that he thinks they could take them this time.
There you
So
go.
them's fighting words, and I'm gonna put that on the sheet because I believe.
And now let's look at our Smash Big Cruise. Here we go. Walk us through it.
You got it. Three conference champs take the top three seeds. Cherokee at a perfect 14-0. Union Township at a perfect 12-0. The playoff score formula still keeps Cherokee on top because they got an extra match and they won an extra match. If Cherokee had gotten that extra match and lost it, they would not be up top. Triton, as you see, got an extra match and lost it. So they come in at the 3 seed there. Union City comes in at the 4, so we do see them where they like to be at the top of high school Smash playoff brackets, followed by Old Bridge, West Essex, Scotch Plains, Fanwood, Seneca round out our top 8. Then we go into the 5 and 2 scrum. We have Henry Snyder and Middletown South. Henry Snyder takes that 9 seed instead of the 10 by virtue of best win. Their best win was actually against the first place team in their conference. They wound up finishing 3rd in their conference, which is why they didn't win it. But that is better than Middletown South's best win. Memorial comes in next, followed by Absegami, Shawnee, and then we have a loving triangle down here again with Kingsway, Bloomfield, and Cedar Creek. Not really a triangle because they never played each other. It's just a 3-way tie for playoff score. But Kingsway takes the what is that? That's the 14 by virtue of their best win, which was against the first place team in their conference. Bloomfield comes in next, and Cedar Creek rounds out the top 16.
There you go. Revealing a little secret in chat on something I've been working on. Because Smash is hungry for more action. But here's what it looks like on the big board. We got Cherokee versus Cedar Creek. We got Seneca versus Henry Snyder. Union City, Shawnee. Old Bridge versus Absegami. Triton versus Kingsway, which I believe they're the same. No, they're not the same district. West Essex versus Memorial West New York. SPF versus Middletown South. Union Township versus Bloomfield. And when we look at the picks, Cherokee, tough team, played well.
Oh.
You know, think they're gonna keep it. Think they're go undefeated. Think they're gonna bring it on home.
Yeah, I actually typoed mine. That's supposed to say Union City. I apparently blanked out and stopped typing. But yeah, that's supposed to be Union City. How do you not pick them? I know Cherokee had a perfect season, but it's Union City, man. They come in with the swagger. They come in
Literally
ready to go.
Have ridden in a limo to the state finals before. Team showed up in a limo, so I do appreciate the swag. Have them on my to watch as well.
But I have avoided homer picks for the entire night. No longer. My team to watch is West Essex, coming in at the 6th seed. I think that is a dangerous seed for West Essex to be in. We took a set from Verona when we played them, and they're the top overall seed over in Group 0-1-2. Our number 1 kid, I think he could beat anyone hands down. He's taken out entire teams, so I think people have to watch out for us. But I think Middletown South is my dark horse here. They've put it together. They've got Ham on the team. I think Ham's just got to hop in a Discord call and just commentate live to his opponents about himself in third person.
Have you not watched the stream? That's what he
I love it. I love it. If
you guys have not, go back and watch some of the old VODs on our Twitch. Ham Polo not only casts our Smash matches, but has started to play in them for Middletown South. And then he literally, I'll never forget, the first time he did it, I knew it was going to happen. He told me, he leaked it, so I'm watching, and he's like, and I don't know, Middletown South has this mystery player. I don't know who it's going to be. They're up 3rd. And then all of a sudden, when it gets to his turn, he's like, it's me. It's been me the whole time. It's Ham Polo. And he actually commentated and played in his own match. And he wound up, again, my 4-year-old beats me on Sephiroth, so I don't know that much about Smash. But he's doing things with the Falco guy on the ledge, and people are going nuts in the chat while he's commentating. So, That is a great dark horse pick, I'm not going to lie, because you have to not only compete against Hampolo playing, but he's going to be casting at you,
Yes.
most likely in third person, because
Yeah.
he casts himself in third person.
And if they make it to the semis, we're gonna let him do it. So don't
Oh,
don't be
100%.
like, they won't let him cast and play.
No, I
this
literally
is a serious
have
event.
purchased.
No, we're gonna let him do it, and it's gonna be hilarious.
I've purchased a headset microphone so he can play and cast the semifinals, and if he makes it to he can cast the whole thing, because that's just going to be absolute gold. But look, my other dark horse is Old Bridge. Old Bridge is running a tight program. The high school is doing a fantastic job over there. Coach Weiss and the rest of the team really doing some nice things. I wouldn't want to go against Old Bridge. Definitely don't want to get caught sleeping against Old Bridge. So I think they can do some damage as well. But and that brings us to our All-Stars. And so for those of you first-time watchers there in the chat or at home, we do All-Stars where at the end of a match, a coach gets to pick somebody from their team and one of their opponents as player of the game. And we leave that up to the coaches to define what that means. If a player is dominant and dominates the whole match and they want to give them player of the game, fantastic. If a player, steps up and was a substitute because a starter was absent and does a nice job, in the stead of a starter, and they want to give the player of the game for that, right? It's really up to the coaches. But what you're going to see with our all-star picks is it is a combination of coaches' votes, and we tend to weight votes when they're even. We weight them heavier if the opposing coach voted for the kid. So if you have two kids, for instance, that have 10 votes, but one kid was 5-5, opposing coach and their coach, and another kid was 4 votes from their coach and 6 votes from opposing coaches, that kid goes higher up on that all-star board, because to be recognized by the opposing coach, we feel is a little bit more of a recognition than your own coach, who just loves you so much. And so taking a look, here are our all-stars. And so we'll start off with League of Legends.
We always do 2 teams.
Yes.
First team and a second team and an alternate. Just to emulate T Sports a little bit. And so it's 12 kids from League of Legends.
Yep. And so again, as we continue to grow and expand, and we've said it, for the past year, we started All Stars this past year. We really are looking for ways to expand, whether it's over the summer or with the new schedule, both in being able to do a tournament of champions where the small group champs play the big school state champs, but also ways to get these all-star matches. And that's why you'll see 2 teams is the idea here. Eventually, at some point, the first team, right, will play the second team in an all-star match. We're just trying to find venues and revenue and that kind of stuff to make that stuff happen. So, Mike, why don't you walk us through the teams?
Yeah, Medahan. Yeah, first team from West Essex. Brett McLaughlin from Cherry Hill. Gabriel Dio Ramos from Mercer County. Dakota Miller from Cherokee. Renzo M. from Barnegat. And Isaac Nunez is the alternate there from Northern Burlington. On our second team, we have Gavin from Haddon Heights, Trevor from Raritan, Chance from SPF, Yan Yao from Shawnee, Vincent Lau from Edison, and Alexi Trongkao, hopefully I got that right, is from Cherokee as the alternate for the second team. So great job, you guys. You don't get on these lists without getting nominated by other coaches. So not only are you impressing your own coach, but you're impressing the other coaches around the league. So it's something to be proud of.
Yeah, and don't forget, all of our All-Stars are invited to St. Elizabeth's to be recognized in our All-Star ceremony. So we do right in the middle of the day, so everybody's there. We recognize our All-Stars because they, have stood out and they deserve that recognition. Here is High School Rocket League. We got William from Seneca, Matt from SPF. We got Daniel from Manasquan, who I met tonight. We got Rodrigo from Manchester Regional, Ignacio from Henry Snyder, Adriel from Union City. We got Chris Cruz from Northern Burlington and Aiden Myers from Camden Catholic. Those are your leading vote getters in High School Rocket League. And this is, again, among both groups, all groups.
Yep.
And we got Valkyrie Smash.
Valkyrie Smash. So some players you pointed out and singled out as being both standouts on their Valkyrie squad, these players also were playing on their co-ed squads and starting as well. So we have Kayla from Barnegat, Katie McKinney from West Deptford, Aliana from Matawan, and Carly McKinney, I assume relation,
They are.
also
I
from West
checked.
Deptford.
We got sisters.
I almost broke into song there. That would have been embarrassing. Jessica and Caroline from Hopatcong are on the second team. And then we have Ava from Fernwood and Liam Hill from West Deptford.
Fantastic. I'll do a little bit of a spoiler because I wanted to make sure that she got the extra recognition that she deserved. And you're going to see first team there, Kayla Crawford from Barnegat. Remember, I mentioned that she was in the state finals of her varsity team last year. Spoiler alert, when we get to Smash High School All Stars, Mike, she's on the list.
Oh,
And
yeah.
she actually is the first player in Garden State esports history to be recognized as an all-star in 2 different titles during the same season. We've had all-stars in the fall and spring be the same. We've never had a player be named to 2 all-star teams in the same season. So definitely want to shout out Kayla Crawford. Had the pleasure of meeting her a few times, pleasure of meeting her family. Coach Sellers and the other coaches over there think the world of her. So the fact that she was recognized just as a Valkyrie Smash player, but also as a all-star varsity player for her team. When I believe the first girl ever to make it to a state finals in GSE history as part of her varsity team. She's a real glass ceiling breaker. So
She might walk home with 2 belts.
she might walk home with 2 belts. She is that good. So definitely want to recognize Kayla because she really did something special. First ever player recognized 2 titles in the same season. So good for her. And then we got Middle School Rocket League. We got Dominic from Fernwood. We got Kyle from Orange Ave. We got Neil from Old Bridge. Dylan from the Center School being the alternate for that squad. Then we got Stanley from Bayshore. We got Melvin from Burnett. We got Mason from Stafford. And then we got Henry Robbins from Brigantine, also recognized as an all-star. So congratulations to that crew as well. And then we should have High School Smash, Mike, if you want to call it.
Yep. High School Smash, we have Miles from Hopatcong. I believe that's the Isabel player.
That is.
We've got Luigi Kid, Lucas Velasquez from High Tech, Brad from Manasquan, and the alternate is Ham Polo himself.
I guess a groundbreaking situation. The first time a GSC commentator has not only commentated his matches while he plays them, he actually earned all-star recognition.
All-star.
Ian Van Diendy, the mouth of Middletown South, is an all-star.
Our second team includes Roger from West Essex, Javier from Ocean, Sam from Cherokee, and there she is. Kayla from Barnegat.
Kayla from Barnegat making the all-star list for Varsity Smash as well. And then to round us out, we got Caden from Bayshore. We got Liam from Fernwood. We got Dylan Aviles. No relation, but I'm sure he's probably the best kid in the state. From Matawan getting some recognition. I got to meet him this time. I tried to find him last time because I'm sure we are somehow related. All of Aviles are related. But Aviles from Matawan. We got Melody McKenzie from Burnett. Arush from Islin. Andres from Kawami. We got Kieran from Hoboken. And then the alternate there is going to be Daniel from the Center School. So congratulations to all our all-stars.
Please come to St. Elizabeth. We've got a certificate and a pin for you.
We got certificates. We got pins. I even know where the pins. I know where the pins are. I saw them the other day. So I don't have to look for them.
GSE conversation is, Chris, where are the pins? But no, we bring you up on stage. Everyone gets to see who you are, see who the standouts from the league are. So please come. We want you there. If not, we'll mail you the certificate.
There we go. And so here is the schedule.
So November is fun in New Jersey because the NJEA convention is always the second weekend in November.
Right.
And so I have the calendar here. These are when all of the matches are scheduled to play. For the most part, that is the default day that match normally takes place on. However, League of Legends, which is normally played on a Thursday, we do not expect you to play if your school is closed. That's just the way it is. So we have scheduled the League of Legends semifinals for Wednesday, November 8th. However, we understand that you guys planned your League of Legends teams with Thursdays in mind. The kids have Thursdays in mind, all that fun stuff. If you reach out to us with a potential reschedule, all reschedules in the playoffs have to be approved by us, but we are willing to work with you on that sort of thing. Same thing if you're one of those weird schools that likes to close for the whole week for teachers convention. First of all, I would like a job there.
Yeah, really.
Second of all, so we just want to get the matches in, but this is how the matches are scheduled. Deviations from this do need approval from a GSE team member, so you can always tag us in the Discord or shoot us an email. You also have the entire full week leading up to finals to get that match in.
Right, plenty of time.
You got plenty of time to get it in. These are where things line up. You can always refer to this. All of the matches will appear in the portal over the weekend. We had to wait for League of Legends to literally be seated live 30 minutes ago in order to finish up these brackets. So we will push those out to the GSE portal. Advisors, they will show up in your dashboard just like all the other matches have been. And you can start reaching out to the opposing advisors to set up the match and trade captain information and lobby info and stuff like that. Rosters will lock Sunday. So
and that's big. It really drive that point home, Mike, is a big difference, right? So tune in, players and coaches. A big difference between the playoffs and the regular season is we lock your rosters 24 hours before the start of your match. And if your roster is not an exact match to who shows up to play the game, that is 100% grounds for a forfeit. So you need to make sure that your roster is set, especially in Smash, because whatever characters that you put in there that you're going to be playing, we hit that lock button and there's nothing you can do about it. So you need to make sure all your scouting, you need to make sure everything is done 24 hours and in the portal, right, 24 hours before your match starts, because I have a magic button and it says lock, and as soon as I touch it, nobody can change their roster. And I hit it to the second to make sure that we keep this fair. So please make sure players, remind your coaches, set a timer in your phone or set a notification. Your rosters must be in 24 hours before the start of the match.
And players at home, now is not the time to change your Steam name.
Yeah, please don't change your names.
Please just have a thought for your advisor who is grading, is teaching, is wrangling you after school like cats. Don't change your name now, because if it's not changed when Mr. Aviles hits the lock button, that's it. And there's no going back.
I get messages in Discord begging me, please, they didn't tell me they changed their Steam name.
Yeah, wait a couple weeks.
There we go.
Just wait a couple weeks. But yeah, here's the schedule. It'll be in the portal. The brackets will be live as well on the competitions page, so you can follow everybody else. And Chris has moved on to the schedule slide for St. Elizabeth. We will have our fall finals event November 18th at St. Elizabeth. I believe Chris has been spamming the link to get your free tickets in the chat. That helps us get numbers, ideas for traffic flow, things like that. The schedule is a little bit different from what we've done in the past because of all the bracket splits that we've done in the high school level. So there are two main stages. It's a multi-gym. We'll get to a map in a second. Multi-gym building. It's all a single building that also contains the cafeteria, a big lobby where you can meet some colleges and things like that. But the doors open at 8, and that's where we're going to start getting everybody set up. Matches start at 9. And we have sort of an AM-PM situation going. Group 012 is in the AM slot. So you guys plan to get there for 9, and all of your matches that you could possibly be in will be over by noon. So we have the Rocket League semis followed by the finals. We have the the high school's Smash semis, followed by the Valkyrie final, and then the high school Smash final. League of Legends is there, and then the Group 3-4 schools. If you're not playing League of Legends or Valkyrie Smash, you can plan to get there for about 1 o'clock because that's when we're doing our All-Star recognition, followed by the Group 3-4 and middle school time slots. So it's a lot going on. It's a long day. One of the pieces of feedback we got is that it is a long day, and as much as we enjoy being around esports and on stages and running things for like 14 hours straight, it's not as fun to go sometimes and be there for 14 hours straight. You're welcome to be there for the whole day, but if you do want to, I know there's some long bus trips from South Jersey going on. This shortens the day a little bit. So the Group 0, 1, 2 events will be in the morning. The Group 3, 4, and middle school events will be in the afternoon.
Beautiful. And, don't forget, if you've been to one of our finals events, there's something to do for everybody. We'll have colleges, we'll have vendors. I always like to try to get some pros to come out, do some signings, do some giveaways. But definitely something to do for everybody, ways to get involved beyond just watching, even though these matches are going to be fantastic. So I posted the tickets in the chat. They are free. Everybody's invited. This is open to the public, so feel free to invite grandma, grandpa, anybody in your community, anybody in your family. Have them come out and support. Have them come out and cheer. Come see Coach Churris dressed like a barbarian. Come, make a lot of noise. You'll see the walkout musics, and everybody's encouraged to dress up and have fun. It's really just a great celebration, not just of some awesome matches and great gameplay, but just everybody getting to meet everybody who they played against, throughout the year. And here's the map. You'll see where we are over in St. Joseph's Hall. Nice big area for some parking. We'll have food there for folks available for sale through the college. I think they're giving tours. They're going to walk folks over to their esports arena, which is beautiful. It's going to be a great day. Yes.
St. Elizabeth, we haven't really talked about this a lot, but St. Elizabeth did get our finals event approved as a college open house.
Oh, tell me more.
And what that means at St. Elizabeth is if you go to a college open house at St. Elizabeth, and then you eventually go to St. Elizabeth, seniors in the room, they give you $1,000.
Oh, that's right.
So you get $1,000 scholarship if you come to the GSE event and then go to St. Elizabeth. So you should come. On the off chance you go.
Yeah, you might fall in love with the campus. It's beautiful.
It's so nice. And the esports arena they have going on, which I know they're going to give tours of, is great. They've got the Shakespearean Theater there. It's on the map. Beautiful amphitheater that we might actually do something at.
Nice.
We've talked about it. And the gyms we're going to be in are great. It's this nice suburban campus. Definitely encourage everybody to come out.
There you go. St. Elizabeth knows how to market. Come to the event. Sign up, seniors, to go to college at St. Elizabeth. Get a great education. I'm going to throw a $1,000 scholarship your way, courtesy of SEU and GSE. You're welcome. Outside of that, Mike, as always, thank you and the competition committee for all of your hard work. From coming up with the formula to, the hours we spend seeding and fighting about seeds and going through different scenarios and picking dice and practicing rolling dice and all the other fun stuff that we do. The GSE team really is the best. All of us are educators. All of us have to be at school tomorrow. But to be able to provide, this league for the schools and the students of New Jersey, obviously something that we're very proud of. So, Mike, with that, again, thank you so much. Thank you to...
Oh, wait.
Oh, there it is.
Hang on, I got to turn around.
I was about to hit you with it. With that, all of the triangles have been satisfied. All of the seeds are set. The only thing left to do is go out and win yourself a state championship. So, matches start next week. Make sure, I'm going to go post this in the Discord. I'm going to email it out to the coaches. Make sure everybody knows when they're playing. Understand what's going on with NJEA Convention, League of Legends. Know that I'm locking rosters 24 hours before the start of the match. Everybody get in touch with your opponents now, so that way there's no, there's no question. Leave no doubt, right? All you got to do now is win.
Take care of business for the belt.
For the belt. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on a Friday night. Enjoy your Halloween, and we're looking forward to some unbelievable matches next week. On behalf of Mike and everybody here at GSC, we have satisfied the triangles, and we're out. Thank you guys. Good night.